चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानजानशालाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताकस्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमः। आचार्यपदाय निताय कृपाप्रदायिने गौरकथाधामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 4 चैप्टर 8 टेक्स्ट 78 right
70 Mataji.
70
Yes Mataji.
मैत्रेय उवाच इति देवर्षिणा प्रोक्तं विश्रुत्य जगतीपति राजलक्ष्मीम् अनादृत्य पुत्रम् एवान्वचिन्तयत्. The great Maitreya continued, the king Uttanapada, after being advised by Narada Muni, practically gave up all duties in relation with his kingdom, which was very vast and wide, opulent like the goddess of fortune, and he simply began to think of his son Dhruva. So,
Mataji, all these bhavas you want me to read at the end? I did as per your instruction. I have.
Yes.
So
yes,
okay,
please
Mataji.
read.
Okay, Mataji. So that I will read at the end of the after you like or.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not connected with this, so at the end you read.
Okay,
it was
Mataji.
part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, but anyway you can read it. I'll give you time.
Okay, Mataji.
So, you can see how much Uttanapada was affected by Dhruva Maharaja's condition, what happened, and he was very satisfied, of course, by what Narada Muni told him. And he began to think about his son. He gave up all his duties, so many duties. He was so much impacted that he gave up everything and he was meditating on Dhruva. Tatrabhishakta prayatas tam uposhya vibhavarim samahita paryacharad rishi adeshena purusham. Elsewhere, Dhruva Maharaja, having arrived at Madhuvana, took his bath in the river Yamuna and observed fasting in the night with great care and attention. After that, as advised by the great sage Narada, he engaged himself in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The significance of this particular verse is that Dhruva Maharaja acted exactly according to the advice of his spiritual master, the great sage Narada. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti also advises that if we want to be successful in our attempt to go back to Godhead, we must very seriously act according to the instruction of the spiritual master. That is the way of perfection. There need be no anxiety over attaining perfection, because if one follows the instruction given by the spiritual master, he is sure to attain perfection. Our only concern should be how to execute the order of the spiritual master. A spiritual master is expert in giving special instructions to each of his disciples. And if the disciple executes the order of the spiritual master, that is the way of his perfection. So all instructions coming from the spiritual master are coming directly from Krishna. And if we follow that, we will get all perfection. The problem is lack of obedience. We are more obedient to our mind and our body, and we think it's all not possible. Guru said that, but it's very difficult. But Guru also will not give any instruction which is too difficult for the disciple. Maybe a little difficult, for which he has to control his senses and mind, and as a servant, in a service attitude, think that I have to follow, I have to fulfill his instruction. Luckily, mostly Guru Maharaj has given the instruction to everyone what? About chanting. Everyone should chant his rounds, at least 16 rounds every day, and following the 4 regulative principles. So chanting, we can take it like, it is my instruction given by Guru, so I have to chant very nicely. And if we do it in that mode, that will help us to, achieve other perfections. And then we'll be ready to do more services for Guru. And the spiritual master is expert in giving special instructions to each of his disciples. And if the disciple executes the order of the spiritual master, that is the way of his perfection. So it won't be that every time we like what he says. He might say something and our mind might rebel. No, not this. I want something else. And if we feel like that, we can still tell the Gurudev, can you modify your instruction? This is difficult. You can honestly tell him that. There is no harm. But we should not get angry with him. Why did he give me this instruction? He gave some other instruction to the other devotee. I prefer that instruction. We can't just think in our minds like that, but we can go and talk to him. Gurudev, you told me to do this, but these are my problems, or I don't like doing it. Is there any way out? And then Guru Maharaj, either he will give another, maybe he will consider that, or he might advise us, preach to us so that we surrender and do the seva. Whatever it is, this mode of service and obedience is so important in controlling the mind. People normally say, oh, I can't control the mind. And then they do whatever they feel like. Not see, here we have to be completely, it says that that Dhruv Maharaja acted exactly according to the advice of his spiritual master, the great sage Narada. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti also advises that if we want to be successful in our attempt to go back to Godhead, we must very seriously act according to the instructions of the spiritual master. Okay, so the mind is very expert in finding excuses. One, we may say, no, Guru never told me directly. He didn't call me and say, do this. And somebody else, that is his representative, is telling me, so I need not listen. That is one, how do I know this is Guru's instruction? Then that is one thing. That way the mind will trickily try to come out of having to follow any instructions. Or one may think that, how, we may, that's what I don't know. Maybe Guru doesn't know my situation. That's why he is told like that. No, you can always take it up with him. Gurudev, you said like this. I'm finding it difficult. Can you please help me how to please you? If we want perfection, and we should also understand that the Guru is not physical. That means only if you go in front of him, he speaks from his mouth. That is instruction. He can speak through other devotees also, especially those who are have responsibility. In the Bhakti Vriksha system, we have that, like parampara. Not only it doesn't stop with the Guru, parampara continues. Siksha parampara is there. And so if we know that, if we have a doubt, we can always question. But generally, if we are surrendered, we'll think that if I just follow this, I'm pleasing my Guru, and then Krishna will be pleased. And in this way, if our goal should be only the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, then only we are. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. So that is a perfection. We know the general principles, what is given in all Prabhupada's books, in Guru Maharaj gives in all the lectures. We know that, and devotees also discuss. We know the general principles. no aparadhas, no criticisms, and no trying to become independent. All these things are the ones which Maya gets into our mind, and she happily, very cleverly takes us away from the straight and narrow path towards perfection. Or she will give so many other ideas about, why we need to surrender so soon. Not now, maybe later. Yeah, like that, we give many excuses. See, it is actually everything is so personalized. There is no generalization for anybody. For example, Prabhupada got the instruction from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that you go to the West and preach. And that he said when he was about 32 years old. When did Prabhupada actually go? He went when he was 70 years old, 69, 70. So sometimes it's not that when the Guru tells something, that immediately, because Prabhupada at that time was married, he had children, he had his parents to look, father to look after, you know, and so he could not leave everything. He had already got married. After marriage, he met his guru, and the guru said, "Go to the West and preach." Then he leaves all of them and goes off to the West. What will happen? You have to consider everything. But he never forgot the instructions his spiritual master gave. And it was like, he said, you should wear it like an ornament, like a crown on your head. So he never forgot. He always, and whatever he could, he kept doing, writing books, periodicals, and going and distributing it, giving donations to the temple, having programs in his house. Everything he tried to do as much as he could. And so finally, the test is that at the end, he was able to fulfill his guru's instructions in a wonderful way. So it is all for each person. It's very tailor-made, very personal. You can never compare your instruction with somebody else, and it doesn't apply like that. Everything. So everyone's situation is different. So knowing that, we should not be afraid to even ask the Guru, please, how can I please you? We are very scared. Suppose the Guru says something difficult and then I'm not able to do. So we don't ask only. But that's why Guru also is very kind. He never gives. He says, many devotees go and ask him, Gurudev, please instruct me what I should do. So we'll say, okay, chant Hare Krishna nicely. Because everything comes from chanting. And then also a surrender level. Because if you go and ask him when you're not ready and he says something and you're not able to follow it, that is very detrimental for us because we are not following Guru's instructions. So we will not simply say something like that. Only as much, and that too, our Guru is very, very compassionate. He doesn't give any difficult instructions even. So but we should try to please him by chanting very nicely, following four regs, and being very, very sincere about, because we want to go back to Godhead, we want to achieve perfection. If that is the driving force, then we can overcome any problem. The main thing is that because we have to understand that Krishna is there, he's actually there, he's a person, and he can talk to each and every one personally. He's aware of everything, and he's the supreme controller of everything. Everyone, everything is the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. And if we please him, there's nothing left for us to achieve. What can a devotee not achieve if he has satisfied Krishna? And satisfying Krishna means what? We have to do devotional service as given by the Guru. We just follow that. And Gurus, Yasya Prasada, Bhagavat Prasadu. Simply try to please the Guru and Krishna is pleased. So that is what Dhruv Maharaj, because he followed everything perfectly, he got results very quickly. In 6 months' time, he became a perfect person. That is because of his deep sincerity. There is no time limit for a devotee. We know that some people quickly progress. They come to 16 rounds very fast, stop all the four regs and very enthusiastic. They do all the services. Anything you tell them, they're ready to do. And then there are some people who keep on 3, 4, 5 years also, still they will make some excuses. They won't follow. So it's all up to us how sincere we are. Then the faster, if we are really truly sincere, we'll follow everything very strictly and we can get perfection in this life itself. Ratrante, Kapitta Padarasana Atmavritti Anusharena Masam Ninye Archayan Harim. For the first month, Dhruv Maharaj ate only fruits and berries on every third day, only to keep his body and soul together. And in this way, he progressed in his worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhu, we did all these things. I've marked it as
78. Okay, Mataji, then I forgot. Sorry for that.
Adharam Mahad Adinam Pradana Purusheshwaram Brahmadharayamanasya Trayolokas Chakampire. When Dhruv Maharaja thus captured the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's the refuge of the total material creation and who's the master of all living entities, the three worlds began to tremble. So in this verse, the particular word Brahma is very significant. Brahman refers to one who not only is the greatest, but has the potency to expand to an unlimited extent. How was it possible for Dhruv Maharaja to capture Brahman within his heart? This question has been very nicely answered by Jiva Goswami. He says that the Supreme Personality of God, it is the origin of Brahman. For since he comprises everything material and spiritual, there cannot be anything greater than he. In the Bhagavad Gita also, the Supreme Godhead says, I am the resting place of Brahman. Many persons, especially the Mayavadi philosophers, consider Brahman the biggest, all expanding substance. But according to this verse and other Vedic literature such as Bhagavad Gita, the resting place of Brahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as the resting place of the sunshine is the sun globe. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore says that since the transcendental form of the Lord is the seed of all greatness, he is the Supreme Brahman. Since the Supreme Brahman was situated in the heart of Dhruv Maharaja, he became heavier than the heaviest, and therefore everything trembled in all three worlds and in the spiritual world. He is pushing the earth with one leg, is standing. So when he became so heavy, can imagine, everything started trembling in all the three worlds, because everything is interconnected. The whole balance of the universe, everything is going in a particular way, very harmoniously. So when the earth got pushed and started trembling, it affected the other planets also. The Mahatattva, or the sum total of the material creation, is to be understood to be the ultimate end of all universes, including all the living entities therein. Brahman is the resort of the Mahatattva, which includes all material and spiritual entities. It is described in this connection that the Supreme Brahman, the personality of God, it is the master of both Pradhana and Purusha. Pradhana means subtle matter, such as ether. Purusha means the spiritual spark, living entities who are engaged in that subtle material existence. These may also be described as para prakriti and apara prakriti as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. So what is para prakriti? Para prakriti is spiritual, transcendental, and apara prakriti is matter. So Krishna says that Binna Prakriti Ashtada. He talks about the 8 separated material energies: earth, water, air, fire, ether, and mind, intelligence, and false ego. Aparetyam idastvanam. So, sorry, Apara Shakti is spiritual, right? Parashakti and Aparashakti. So he talks about the spiritual thing. And so when the Pradhana is first manifest before Mahavishnu, the matter is not manifested itself. Only when the three modes, whatever we see material is made up of three modes. Without the three modes, the material energy was subtle. Just like we cannot see mind, intelligence, ego, but it is there. Similarly, Pradhana was invisible. And the Lord glanced over it, and then only the three modes manifested themselves. And then it became Mahatattva, where you can actually see it's made up of the whole, with the gross eyes. Hmm. Krishna, being the controller of both the Prakritis, is thus the master of Pradhana and Purusha. Purusha is who? The living entities. In this material world, Prakriti is the material nature and the Purusha are the living entities. So but Krishna is the controller of both Purusha and Prakriti. In the Vedic hymns also, the supreme Brahman is described as Antaha Pravishta Shashta. This indicates that the Supreme Personality of God is controlling everything and entering into everything. The Brahma Samhita 5.35 further confirms this. Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam. He has entered not only the universes, but even the atom. In Bhagavad Gita 10.42, Krishna also says, Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead controls everything by entering into everything, by associating constantly with the Supreme Personality in his heart. Dhruva Maharaja naturally became equal to the greatest. So, see, all experiences are available in bhakti. The merging that the Mayavadis want, I want to merge and become supreme. Dhruva Maharaja, just by meditating on Krishna with devotion, he became just as heavy. He became naturally equal to the greatest. Brahman, by his association, and thus becoming the heaviest, and the entire universe trembled. So he became so much in this thing, in sync with the Supreme Lord, that he started becoming so heavy. In conclusion, a person who always concentrates on the transcendental form of Krishna within his heart can very easily strike the whole world with wonder at his activities. This is the perfection of yoga performance, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Yoginam api sarvesham. Of all yogis, the bhakti yogi who thinks of Krishna always within his heart and engages in his loving transcendental service is the topmost. Ordinary yogis can exhibit wonderful material activities known as Ashtasiddhi, 8 kinds of yogic perfection. But a pure devotee of the Lord can surpass these perfections by performing activities which can make the whole universe tremble. So the normal yogis, they cannot make the whole universe tremble and all that. They just anima, mahima, lagima, prapti, all these small things with their own. They can enter the smallest and become the biggest and run, fly somewhere, gets the things, all these control minds. But here Dhruva Maharaja got the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his heart. And imagine just one small kid, 5-year-old kid, is standing there. And by his power, the whole universe is trembling. See the prowess of a pure devotee. That is the greatness. Wonderful. Actually, it is so scientific. How? Because everything is coming from Krishna, and Krishna spread everywhere, and that supreme person is inside Dhruv Maharaja's heart, then this is, of course, Krishna exhibits its potencies in so many ways. I mean, different ways. There may be yogis who are meditating on Krishna, all the pure devotees, always meditating on Krishna, but they don't become heavy. Every yogi who meditates on Krishna doesn't become so heavy. Then nobody can do all the time. The universe will be trembling. But in this particular case, Krishna, this Leela, he wanted to show the universe what is Dhruv Maharaja. Who knew? Only some devatas knew, okay, this Dhruv Maharaja, oh, he's been blessed by Narada Muni and he is doing some tapasya for in order to become greater than Brahma. That much they knew. But the whole universe didn't know about the greatness of Dhruv Maharaj. Even the devatas didn't know what exactly Dhruva was doing. They only saw externally, oh, he's very desirous of position and he's doing tapasya. Internally, they couldn't see his progress. So Krishna wanted to glorify Dhruv Maharaj, and so he created the situation. Yadaikapadena sa partivar batas tastau tad angushta nipidita mahi nanama tatrardham ibhendra dishtita tariva savyetaratah pade pade. As Dhruv Maharaja, the king's son, kept himself steadily standing on one leg, the personality, the pressure of his big toe pushed down half the earth. Just as an elephant being carried on a boat rocks the boat left and right with his every step. The most significant expression in this verse is Parthivarvaka, son of the king. When Dhruv Maharaja was at home, although he was a king's son, he was prevented from getting on the lap of his father. But when he became advanced in self-realization or devotional service by the pressure of his toe, he could push down the whole earth. That is the difference between ordinary consciousness and Krishna consciousness. In ordinary consciousness, the king's son may be refused something, even by his father. But when the same person becomes fully Krishna conscious, within his heart, he can push down the earth with the pressure of his toe. One cannot argue how is it that Dhruv Maharaja was prevented from getting up on the lap of his father, could press down the whole earth. This argument is not very much appreciated by the learned, for it is an example of Nagna Matrika logic. By this logic, one would think that everyone in the home by this logic, one would think that because his mother in her childhood was naked, she should remain naked even when she's grown up. The stepmother of Dhruv Maharaja might have been thinking in a similar way. Since she had refused to allow him to get up on the lap of his father, how could Dhruva perform such wonderful activities as pressing down the whole earth? She must have been very surprised, and she learned that Dhruv Maharaja, by concentrating, that Dhruv Maharaja, by concentrating constantly on the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, could press down the entire earth like an elephant who presses down the desk, presses down the boat. Elephant who presses down the boat on which it is loaded. So this meditation is very important. Now we only are doing Shravanam and Kirtanam, but we have to come to a stage of Smaranam, always remembering the Lord, meditating on Him. Until we do that, we cannot push the earth with our toes. No, I mean, not for that purpose, but to have the Lord in our heart. all the time, because then there is no problem. When the Lord is there, we'll not be afraid of anything, just worshipping and meditating. And that's why in the Satya Yuga, people were just meditating. There's no need to do anything. Krishna, you meditate, everything he supplies. They were very, advanced devotees in the Satya Yuga. Now, Kali Yuga, we are struggling to even hear from Shravanam, Kirtanam. We do some Kirtanam and then we have to hear. Then only Smaranam will come. Because Smaranam does not come in our mind because of anarthas. We are thinking of so many other things other than Krishna. Oh, mind is ready to think of anything else. Thinking of Krishna, oh, enough. I thought, no, when I chanted, now enough. Now whole day I can do whatever Prabhupada said. I finished my 16 rounds. Now I can do any damn thing that I want. He was, joking, like how we would think. So we find it so difficult to spend time with Krishna. Oh, it's too difficult. We want to enjoy with our senses and mind. But that's why we're not able to do Smaranam. And here, Dhruva, a prince, he was just ready to just give up everything and go there to the forest. And he was able to meditate, Dhyanam. He was doing Smaranam. Prahlad also 5-year-old doing Smaranam because no anarthas in their mind. That's why we have to we have to come to Smaranam stage. Then only we can do the other parts, that is Smaranam, then Vandanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Padasevanam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. All these things are possible only when we come to the level of meditating on the Lord. That is, if we are not able to meditate, that means, oh, still I have a lot of anarthas. I have to work on them. And how do we work on them? We are only taking shelter of Krishna, chanting very, very Ashravanam and Kirtanam very attentively. And as long as we are not getting Smaranam, then I have a long way to go. Lot many anarthas are there, so many attachments. Because otherwise, like these yogis, they gave up everything and went and sat there in the forest. So we don't have to go to the forest, but here itself, if we can keep our mind transparent, nothing, no attachments, and simply do whatever Krishna is instructing us, then that is Smaranam. Then from there only perfection happens. And imagine what a realization. He could see the Supreme Lord, who's the controller of everything, origin of everything. And such a person is all the time with you. Yadaikapadena sa parthivarbakas tastau tad angushta nipiditamahi nanama tatrardham ibendra dishtita taraiva savyetarata pade pade. As Dhruva Maharaja, the king's son, kept himself steadily standing on one leg, the pressure of his big toe pushed down half the earth, just as an elephant being carried on a boat rocks the boat left and right with every step. So, Dhruva Maharaja, the king's son, purposely is saying, imagine, he's from the palace. And he kept himself steadily standing on one leg. And because of that, the pressure of his big toe pushed down half the earth. Just as an elephant being carried on a boat rocks the boat left and right with his every step. The most significant expression in this verse is Parthivarbaka, a son of the king.
Mataji, we have read this verse.
Where? No, I have not read.
Yeah, that Nagna Matrika and all. Just now we read this verse, Mataji.
Oh, acha. Okay. Sorry. Text 80. Tasmin abidhyayati vishwamatmano dvaram nirudyasum ananyaya diya loka niruchvasa Nipiditha Brisham Salokapala Sharanam Yayur Harim. When Dhruva Maharaja became practically one in heaviness with Lord Vishnu, the total consciousness, due to his fully concentrating and closing all the holes of his body, the total universal breathing became choked up. And all the great demigods and all the planetary systems felt suffocated and thus took shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When hundreds of persons are sitting in an airplane, although they remain individual units, they each share in the total force of the airplane, which runs at thousands of miles per hour. Similarly, when unit energy is identified with the service of the total energy, the unit energy becomes as powerful as the total energy. As explained in the previous verse, Dhruva Maharaja, because of his spiritual advancement, became almost the total heaviness, and thus he pressed down the whole earth. Moreover, by such spiritual power, his unit body became the total body of the universe. Thus, when he his unit body, it says, due to his fully concentrating, when Dhruva Maharaja became practically one in heaviness with Lord Vishnu, the total consciousness, due to his fully concentrating, closing all the holes of the body, the total universal breathing became choked up. So, how did they get choked up? Then here, which, okay. When hundreds of persons are sitting in an airplane, although they remain individual units, they each share in the total force of the plane, which runs at thousands of miles per hour. Similarly, when unit energy is identified with the service of the total energy, the unit energy becomes as powerful as the total energy. So the unit energy is Dhruva Maharaja, and he is engaged in the service of the Parabrahman, Supreme Lord, and he became as heavy as him, became almost the total heaviness, and thus he pressed down the whole earth. Moreover, by such spiritual power, his unit body became the total body of the universe. So because the Supreme Lord was in his heart and he became so heavy, then this became, the unit body became the total body of the universe. So the vice versa also. Krishna was in his body, and he also became, he is also within Krishna, right? Krishna is within us and we are within Krishna. So his body, because Krishna himself was in his heart, his body also became the universal body. That is the amazing thing. His unit body became the total body of the universe. Thus, when he closed the holes of his unit body to firmly concentrate his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the units of the universe, namely all living entities, including the big demigods, felt the pressure of suffocation, as if their breathing were being choked. Therefore, they all took shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they were perplexed as to what had happened. So because his body became the universal body, and all the holes of his body were closed, and so everybody here also became suffocated. This example of Dhruva Maharaja's closing the holes of his personal body and thereby closing the breathing holes of the total universe clearly indicates that a devotee, by his personal devotional service, can influence all the people of the whole world to become devotees of the Lord. If there's only one pure devotee in pure Krishna consciousness, he can change the total consciousness of the world into Krishna consciousness. This is not very difficult to understand if we study the behavior of Dhruva Raja. So it's amazing that one devotee is enough. One Dhruva Maharaja, he became a pole star and everybody is going around it. Like that, Prabhupada, one pure devotee, he electrified this whole, of course, not universe, this whole world. But of course, Prabhupada's influence goes all over the universe. He must be busy in some other planet trying to preach to them. So, if there is only one pure devotee in pure Krishna consciousness, he can change the total consciousness of the world. He is talking of only the world now into Krishna consciousness. This is not very difficult to understand if we study the behavior of Dhruva Maharaja. Deva uchuhu naivam vidamo bhagavan. Naivam vidamo bhagavan pranarodam characharasya sattvadamna videhi tanno vrijinad vimoksham prapta vayam tvam sharanam sharanyam. No, sharanam sharanyam. Yes, the demigod said, "Dear Lord, you are the refuge of all moving and non-moving living entities. We feel all living entities to be suffocating, their breathing process choked up. We've never experienced such a thing. Since you are the ultimate shelter of all surrendered souls, we have therefore approached you. Kindly save us from this danger." Dhruva Maharaja's influence attained by executing devotional service unto the Lord was felt even by the demigods who had never before experienced such a situation. Because of Dhruva Maharaja's controlling his breathing, the entire universal breathing process was choked. It is by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that material entities cannot breathe, whereas spiritual entities are able to breathe. Material entities are products of the Lord's external energy, whereas spiritual entities are products of the Lord's internal energy. The demigods approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's the controller of both kinds of entities. In order to know why their breathing was choked, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate doer, ultimate goal for the solution to all problems within this material world. In the spiritual world, there are no problems, but the material world is always problematic. Since the Supreme Personality of God is the master of both the material and spiritual worlds, it is better to approach him in all problematic situations. Those who are devotees, therefore, have no problems in this material world. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, Chaitanya Chandramrita. Devotees are free from all problems because they're fully surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For a devotee, everything in the world is very pleasing because he knows how to use everything in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And that is only missing. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, in this material world, there is nothing, no lack of anything. Krishna has supplied Purnam Om, Purnamidam, Purnam Purnamudachyate. Everything is complete. Only missing thing is Krishna consciousness. That is all is missing. All problems, shortage, everything, suffering is only because we're not remembering Krishna. And Krishna has also created that kind of a jail system where you're suffering because, okay, if you wanted to forget me, forget, and you suffer. And only by thinking of Krishna in activities, then we understand, oh, we can get rid of all problems. Only that the reason problems are there are simply arranged by Krishna so that we will take shelter of him. For devotees especially, it is simply so that we'll take more complete shelter, complete absorption. Now we only consciously, we should not think, I'm very Krishna conscious. Every day I'm doing sadhana. Na. What is that sadhana? It is only affecting our external consciousness, conscious mind. The mind, maximum point, about 90% of it is subconscious, which is a sum total of so many lifetimes of whatever experiences, thoughts. It is all there. Our subconscious, that subconscious also has to become made into a devotee. That means naturally we'll only think of Krishna. Even in our dreams, we'll not dream of anything else but Krishna. We have to. So it is a long drawn thing. And that is why. But then we should take shelter of Krishna. He only can. He made 6 months for Dhruv Maharaj. Within 6 months, he was able to get the Supreme Personality of Godhead into his heart. And he was united with him. Like the whole world was trembling because of him. So there is only doing devotional service and our chanting. And we should realize that we have to purify. Because we may think my mind is okay, I've purified it. Now I'm not thinking of all nonsense. But from time to time, where does some thoughts keep coming? It's all in the subconscious. It's there. It'll come. Even Yamunacharya, who Albandaru, he became a pure devotee. He was a king, and then he was um, brought by his grandfather's, some disciple, was brought back to Krishna consciousness, and then he again became exalted. And so at that time, he says that, in the Bhagavad Gita, in one of the purports, Prabhupada mentions how the Albandaru, he is thinking that now, when ever since I became a devotee, I get such wonderful thoughts of Krishna that whenever some thought about sex with a woman comes in my mind, then I become very repulsed and I spit. So that is because in his ashram as a king, he had a harem and all these. I mean, he had in Maya, of course, he did all that. So, and it is still there in the subconscious. Conscious mind, he was 99% pure. He was in the bhava stage. Why should he remember something which happened far away? He's not even interested in all that. He's a great acharya now. But because something from there, because 1% is still there, some memories are there from the subconscious, and then that comes, and then he feels very disgusted. And so we have those subconscious thoughts which keep coming and diverting us from our Krishna consciousness. We get affected by so many things because we're still conscious mind, even we are trying to purify. Now we have to preach to the subconscious also. My dear mind, now you become a devotee. And we hear, by hearing Krishna's names, then praying to Krishna, like Dhruv Maharaj, so sincere, so desirous of perfection, because so many things to deviate us from devotional path are there in this material world. But we have to keep on taking shelter of Krishna. And this way, like Dhruv Maharaja, conquer Krishna, and then what he was able to do, what he did affected the whole universe. So that's amazing. And Prabhupada also says, one pure devotee is enough to change this whole world. So at least more pure devotees are formed. Then definitely golden age will come immediately. Anything is possible with Krishna's mercy. Okay, we'll stop now. And please read, Prabhu. Avye Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Please bless me, Mataji. I can read properly, and please forgive me. Actually, last time I was not paying attention, so maybe I did not take the proper notes of the starting verse.
Okay. Problem.
Nectar of devotion. In this division of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, there are 5 general topics. Vibhava, special symptoms of ecstasy, Anubhava, subsequent ecstasy, Satvik Bhava, constitutional ecstasy, Vyavachari Bhava, aggressive ecstasy, and Sthai Bhava, fervent ecstasy.
Permanent.
Vibhava,
Na.
fervent Mataji, Fervent.
Fervent. Fervent. Okay.
Vibhava, Vibhava, the basis from which ecstatic love of God is born. The particular type of ecstatic loving sentiment the devotee that develops within the heart of a particular devotee is considered to be vibhava. And the resultant manifestation, such as moving of the eyebrows, fear, astonishment, and smiling, which have been explained herein before, are called anubhava. The different causes for developing anubhava and vibhava are called steady ecstasy or sanchari bhava. Whenever there is a recitation of poetry or a dramatic play on the different pastime of Krishna, the audience develop different kind of transcendental loving service to the Lord. They enjoy different types of vibhava, anubhava, and sanchari bhava. There are 8 transcendental symptoms found in the body during ecstasy, and all of them are possible only by a mixture of above mentioned 5 ecstatic divisions. Without some mixture of these 5 ecstatic principles, one cannot relish transcendental bliss. The cause or basis for relishing transcendental mellow is exactly what we mean by vibhava. The vibhava is divided into two, namely namely basic and impetuous. In the Agni Puran, the description of a vibhava is given as follows. The basis from which ascetic love is born is called vibhava, which is divided into two, basic and impetuous. In other words, there are 2 kinds of ascetic love. The object of basic ascetic love is Krishna and his devotee. Lord Krishna is the object of basic ascetic love and his pure devotee. A reservoir of such love in this object of impetuous ascetic love. Impetuous ascetic love then is the love which develops when one sees an object which reminds him Krishna. So here then anubhava. Anubhava says the bodily symptoms which are manifested by a devotee in expressing ascetic love for Krishna are called anubhava. Practical example of anubhava are follows: dancing, rolling on the ground, singing very loudly, stretching the body, crying loudly, yawning, breathing very heavily, neglecting the presence of the others, drooling, laughing like a madman, wheeling the head, and belching. When there is an extraordinary excess of ascetic love with all these bodily symptoms manifested, one feels relieved transcendently. These symptoms are divided into 2 parts. One is called Sita, S-I-T-A, and another is called Kshepna, K-S-E-P-A-N-A. So when there is a yearning, it is called Shita, and when there is a dancing, it is called Kshepna. Love for Krishna, which is known as Anubhava, is symptomized by the following signs. One becomes engaged exclusively in the service of the Lord, being attentive to carry out the orders of the Lord faithfully. One becomes undisturbed and non-envious in all full transcendental loving service to the Lord. And one makes friendship with the devotees of the Lord who are situated in faithful service to him. All of these symptoms are called anubhava. The first symptom of anubhava or engagement in a particular type of service is exemplified by Daruka, a servant of the Krishna, who used to fan Krishna with a chamara, a bunch of hair. When he was engaged in such service, he was filled with love, and the symptoms of love became manifested in his body. But Daruka was so serious about his service that he checked all of these manifestations of love and considered them hindrance to his engagement. He did not care very much for these manifestations, although they automatically developed. Even Balram, the elder brother of Krishna, sometimes unknowingly offered respect to him. Once, when Krishna came before Lord Balram, he was anxious to offer his respect to his elder brother. But at the time, Balram's club was lowered down upon Krishna's lotus feet. In other words, the club in Balram's hand offered its own respect to Krishna. These feelings of subordination, as explained above, are sometimes manifested as anubhava. In Padyavali of Rupa Goswami, it is stated that when gopis hear the sound of Krishna's flute, they immediately forget all rebukes offered by the elderly members of their families, their defamation, and the harsh behavior of their husbands. Their only thought is to go out in search of Krishna. When the gopis meet Krishna, the display of their exchanging glances as well as their joking and laughing behavior is called anubhava, or subcategory or sub-ecstasy in the conjugal love. Now the third thing is the sattvika. One of the devotees of Lord Krishna once addressed him in this manner: "My dear Lord, although you are not a professional dancer, by your
Wait,
dancing
Prabhu,
you have..."
we'll summarize, just a minute, we'll summarize before.
Sure,
Okay. Then Sanchari Bhav, you said, was something which, what do you call, which provokes the Anubhava, isn't it? Not Anubhava, by Vibhava.
It says, Mataji, the different causes for developing anubhava and vibhava are called steady ecstasy or sanchari bhava. Whenever
So
there
Sanchari
is
Bhava, yeah. Sanchari Bhava is something like, say, you see a peacock feather. That is the Sanchari Bhava, right? That is the one which caused you, or you see the form of Krishna somewhere. That is Sanchari Bhava. And because of that, you develop some loving emotions in your heart, which is called Vibhava. And because of which you express it in external something, like, you raise your hands, or you start crying, or you roll on the ground. That is Anubhava, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So now we go to Satvika. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. So, Satvika, one of the devotee of the Lord, one addressed him in this manner: "My dear Lord, although you are not a professional dancer, by your dancing you have so astonished us that we can understand that you are personally the master of all dancing. Certainly, you must have learned this dancing art directly from the goddess of love. When a devotee dances in love, these are manifestations of symptoms which are called sattvika. Sattvika means that they are from the transcendental platform. They are not the symptoms of material emotions, they come from the soul proper. The general activities of the mothers of the cowherd boys were to kiss them, to embrace them, to call them by their names, and sometimes to mildly um, uh, chastise them for their stealing habits. These manifestations of parental love are called sattvika, wherein manifestation of 8 kind of symptoms are visible in full. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 13th chapter, 19th verse, Sukdev Goswami tells King Parikshit, all the mothers of the cowherd boys were illusioned by the covering influence of the Yogmaya, potency of the personality of Godhead. And as soon as they heard the flute playing of their boys, they immediately stood up and mentally embraced their sons, who had been created by the direct internal potency of Krishna. Accepting them as their born sons, they lifted into their arms and began to embrace them. Resting the children's bodies upon their own, the emotions created by their incident were sweeter than nectar turned into a palatable intoxicant, and the milk flowing out of their breasts were immediately drunk by the children. So this is the Satvika Bhamataji.
Can you read the first definition? Satvika Bhav is?
Yeah, it says, one of the devotees of the Lord Krishna once addressed him in this manner: "My dear Lord..."
That is,
Okay, Mataji.
No,
My
the
dear Lord,
definition, Satvika Bhav.
Satvika, yes, Mataji. It says like, it's example given, Mataji. Yeah, okay, I'll read it. When a devotee when a devotee dances in the love, these are the manifestation of symptoms which are called sattva. Satvika. Satvika means that they are from the transcendental platform. They are not symptoms of material emotions. They come from the soul proper.
Yeah, what is the difference between Satvika Bhava and Anubhava? Because Anubhava also, because Vibhava, whenever you feel an emotion and then you express it in, in some kind of a bodily this thing, that is Anubhava. So Satvika Bhava is, what's the difference? What does it say? Read the first few lines of Satvika Bhava.
Yes, Mataji. One of the devotees of the Lord Krishna once addressed him in this manner: My dear Lord, although you are not a professional dancer, by your dancing, you have so astonished us that we can understand that you are personally the master of all dancing. Certainly, 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 you must have learned this dancing art directly from the goddess of love. When a devotee dances in love, these are the manifestations of the symptoms which are called sattvika. The general activities of all the mothers of the cowherd boys were to kiss them, to embrace them, to call them by their names, and sometimes to mildly chastise them was their stealing habits. So these are the some of the things it is mentioned, Mataji.
Okay.
The manifestation of the parental love are called sattvika.
In that particular case,
Yes,
it's
Mataji.
not only in parental love, na. It is also these sakas were also even in this thing when he was describing Sakyaras, he was saying that the boys were telling Krishna, isn't it? That oh, you must have learned all this only from the goddess of love. Okay, does it say it's only for parental love, the Satvika Bhav?
One
In this
example given
particular,
here, Mataji.
that's what, it's only an example. Okay.
Example here.
Yeah, okay, continue.
Yeah. Sattvika bhava says constitutional love, Mataji. In the beginning, it says constitutional love.
Can you read that sentence?
Yeah, it says in the division of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, there are 5 general topics. Vibhava is special symptoms of ecstasy. Anubhava is subsequent ecstasy. Sattvika bhava is constitutional ecstasy, Mataji.
Okay. Okay, maybe it is coming right from the soul. You're saying Anubhava is subsequent, right?
So yeah, Vibhava is special symptoms. Anubhava is subsequent. Sattvika is constitutional, and Vyabhachari bhava is aggressive. And
That's
sthai
what
is
it is in stages. It is,
yes,
going from one thing to the next.
yes,
Okay,
Mataji.
Vibhava is one special, some mood, and then it expresses itself, a subsequent thing,
Yes,
like
Mataji.
raising the arms or something. And Satvika Bhav is
Constitutional.
constitution. From the soul, you're feeling it.
Yes, Mataji.
And then Vyabhichari is aggressive
Aggressive.
behavior, more.
Aggressive behavior.
Okay, read Vyabhichari also.
Sure, Mataji. When Krishna entered the lake of Kalia, his intimate friends became so perverted that their bodily colors faded, and they all produced horrible gurgling sounds. At that time, all of them fell down on the ground as if they were unconscious. Similarly, when there was a forest fire, all of the Krishna's friends neglected their own protection and surrounded Krishna on all sides to protect him from the flames. This behavior of the friends towards Krishna is described by thoughtful poets as Vyabhichari. In Vyabhichari, love for Krishna, there is sometimes madness, fear, laziness, pride, dizziness, disease, forgetfulness. and humbleness. These are some of the common symptoms in the stage of Vyabhichari, love for Krishna.
Okay. That's it, na? These are the
And
four.
then finally is Sthai Bhava. Sthai
Sthai
Bhava
Bhav.
is, yes, Mataji. So when there are dealings between Krishna and his friends, which are completely devoid of any feelings of respect, they all treat one another on the equal level. Such love in friendship is called Sthai. When one is situated in this confidential friendship relationship with Krishna, one shows symptoms of love such as attraction, affection. An example of Sthai Bhava exhibited when Arjuna told Akrura, "My dear son of Gandhini, please ask Krishna when I shall be able to embrace him in my arms." This is Arjuna is asking to Akrura. And then one more example given when there is a full knowledge of Krishna's superiority, and yet in dealing with him on friendly terms, respectful is completely absent. That stage is called affection. There is one brilliant example of this affection when the demigods, headed by Lord Shiva, were offering respectful prayers to Krishna, describing the glorious opulences of the Lord. Arjuna stood before him with his hand on his shoulders and brushed the dust from his peacock feather.
Okay. Sthai Bhav is on the this thing. So basically, they're saying that what is that? Sanchari Bhav is for more for Vatsalya Ras, and Sthai Bhav is for this thing for friendly. Is it?
Yes, Mataji. It says when there are dealings between Krishna and his friends, which are completely devoid of any feeling of respect, and they are all treat on one another on the equal level. Such love is friendship is called Sthai. Like Arjun is saying, "My dear son of Gandhini, please ask Krishna when I shall be able to embrace him in my arms." So because he's friend, so he wants to embrace him. That
Okay,
time is
almost on an equal level.
equal level.
Okay, that is
And then,
Sthai Bhav. Okay.
yes, Mataji. And then when demigods headed by Lord Shiva were offering respectful prayers to Krishna, then Arjun stood before him with his hand on his shoulders. So Arjun put his hand on his shoulders and brushed the dust on his peacock feather because the feather might be a little dirty or something. So he was just brushing it to clean it.
Okay.
So,
Okay, these actually they don't even teach in the. We are not supposed to. It's not within the 19 chapters of Bhakti. Which chapter is this?
Mataji, I'll tell you, Sthai Bhava. Give me a second. Actually, I just took a notes from those that one.
From where?
In this the book that you said,
Nectar of Devotion.
Nectar Devotion. Yes, ma'am. Give me a second, Mataji. I'm just
No,
checking.
which chapter is it in?
I'm just checking it, Mataji.
But it's good to know. That's why we are, yeah. And it is just increasing levels of ecstasy from Vibhava and then Anubhava and this thing. Sanchari Bhava comes straight from the soul, and then we have Sthai Bhava.
Yes, Mataji. This is the chapter. This is page number 341.
Which
It
chapter?
is. I'm just telling Mataji. It is the Nectar of Devotion. Name of the chapter is Fraternal Loving Affairs. I'll give you the number also.
That's okay. No, so those actually we are not supposed
42.
to learn it now. But
Chapter
anyway, I
42.
mean, it's not included in our syllabus, even in the Bhakti Shastri. But anyway, doesn't matter. Just to know that these are there. How
Yes, Mataji.
deeply, yeah, you study all these emotions and everything. So scientific.
Chapter number 42, Mataji. Fraternal Loving Affairs.
Oh, it's very advanced. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway. So, but we know that how these things are studied. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm not qualified, Mataji. I do not understand anything. It's just you told me, so I read as per your instruction, because this is a very advanced stage of bhavas. I have no qualification to read or understand. So please forgive me for any mistake or anything.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay. We go to our prayers today.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Keshavi.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji.
Yeah, please accept my humble obeisances.
Mataji, when we are discussing in the Bhagavatam class yesterday, so Prabhu has shared like by birth, no one is a Brahmana, but by their qualities and their activities, we consider him as a Brahmana. So one Mataji was asking, like, Karna by birth is a Kshatriya, but why? And he has Kshatriya qualities also, but why still they say that Sudputra to him? He was asking that.
Yeah, because he was raised by them, and see, that is what it because you see in Dwapara Yuga, Dharma, I mean, there was a lot of adharma, no? First of all, Kauravas themselves, so much of adharma, and society itself, they were giving more importance to birth and all that. So that is why they didn't, I mean, that is the decadence. In Satya Yuga, it wouldn't have been like that. See, when he showed that his Kshatriya qualities, they should have accepted him as Kshatriya. But they didn't. They said he's Sudputra and all that. So it was because it was wrong, actually. And no, but one thing, even though he was Sudputra, he was allowed to show. He also came and challenged that I am also trained by, when the Kauravas and the Pandavas, they were allowed to display all their, whatever their skills, what they learned. So at that time, Karna also came and he wanted to show, and they allowed him. They didn't say, oh, you're Sudputra, you can't. But Karna, who was the one who said that you are Sudputra, so you cannot show? And then that is when Duryodhana, he gave him that, Anga Desh, and you said, now I made you a king, now you're a Kshatriya. Who was the one who raised objections to this one showing his skills?
Maharaj Drupad, Mataji, I think that when that fish eye has to be pierced, right?
No,
That
not
time,
during Draupadi Swayamvar. When they completed their studies, their education, and they came, then they were all, in front of the whole kingdom. All the students displayed their prowess, like Arjuna in archery, and Yudhishthira and the Gada, like that. All of them were showed, and Duryodhan and all of them also. At that time, Karna also came. And he also,
it's Dronacharya.
Dronacharya. Maybe. I don't know.
I think so, Mataji, because when he wanted to challenge Arjuna, the objective is only a Kshatriya can challenge a Kshatriya. That's how the argument is put forward. So whereas my understanding is Bhishma Deva, who is a devotee of the Lord, he knows that Karna is a Kshatriya because of the qualities. So I was wondering why Karna has to be always be considered Sudputra and is considered Sudra only rather than based on his qualities. Why he was not allowed to challenge Arjuna?
See, also maybe in terms of actual good quality, Karna lacked it. He was actually in a previous Janma, he was a Asura. And you see, he had Asuric qualities in him, even though he was Kunti Putra and all, even though he was a Pandava, because he had a rebellious streak in him. That is why everything is connected. He is also responsible. It's not that he's very innocent. He, afterwards also we see when Krishna told him, it's okay, you surrender to me. You don't have any other dharma greater than that. He said, no, I want to acknowledge my gratitude to Duryodhan. So in that way, he was unsurrendered. And so that's what, that is the reason they must have detected that. See, even Ekalavya for that matter, Ekalavya was also a very good archer. And we may say, oh, Dronacharya, why did he do like that? He took away his thumb and all that. Because he had asuric traits in him. And he must have known that. Because later on when when Krishna married, took away Rukmini, that time Rukmi attacked him, and along with him, Ekalavya also fought with Krishna. So they didn't want those who were not surrendered, those who were not devotees, to have all these, skills, because they will misuse it. That is why.
Okay.
And one more thing, Mataji, when that Draupadi, actually they were all doing wrong things. He was using very wrong words towards her. As Kshatriya, he should protect lady, right? In general, he should
Yeah.
protect the whole population. And he was
Yeah, yeah.
encouraging Kauravas to do all wrong things, and he was putting that he was saying so wrong things all to her, which is not etiquette actually.
Yeah. That's what, he had some bad qualities in him. That is why he would have been rejected. Even Ekalavya, for a long time, I used to think, why this Ekalavya, poor thing, he was good, and everybody thinks like that. They glorify you, Ekalavya, Karna, and all that, and they think they are like, unjustly, they were victims and all that. But it's not true, because they were, at that time also, there were great souls there taking care, and because they didn't have that surrender and the good, this thing. Like, if you, why do they say that don't give, good knowledge to unqualified people? Then that is also, especially, pure devotional service, of course, the unqualified people cannot do. So we give Hare Krishna mantra. They may misuse it also, but not much chances, because if suppose you give it to a terrorist or something, and he will chant, he cannot, Hare Krishna mantra won't act. Suppose he says, I'll chant Hare Krishna mantra to inflict, they want to kill somebody, or I'll pray that, they will not be able to do it. They can't even chant Hare Krishna mantra for that matter. But other skills, because this is directly Krishna's name, so anybody who's unqualified automatically will not be able to chant. But if you're teaching them skills, like for example, archery, weapon, how to use all that to unqualified people, they will not, like giving the atom bomb to all unqualified countries. Pakistan has got one, capacity to do nuclear bomb. Then what they will do? Misuse it. That is why you should not give unqualified people weapons and other skills. That is why.
And he was also very deceitful, Mataji, conspiracies and all, like all that gambling, he knew like what this like intentions of Kauravas, and when they planned to kill Abhimanyu also, he was engaged in those deceitful activities.
Yeah.
So
that's what, he is not innocent. He is not like the other Pandavas, very straightforward, and yeah, you're not.
Mataji, can I ask one other question?
Yes.
We see certain incidents like what's happening in Bangladesh, where ISKCON temple being vandalized, and some of the, in some place like Ukraine also, you hear the devotees being killed by Russians. How do we need to understand? Is it because of their karma they're getting killed by them, and the temples are being destroyed? How do we need to understand this? Because we usually use the word karma for everything. So when a devotees who are working in the temple serving the Lord, they get killed by these kind of monsters. So the person, the devotee getting killed is because of his karma is getting killed, or how do we understand that?
No, if he died trying to defend Krishna, he is going back to Godhead. So maybe it was an opportunity for Krishna to take him back. No, even now, if they were attacked illegally and they were trying to defend the temple, definitely they would have gone back to Godhead. But anyway, good news is, in the last, I think in the night or whatever, because Modi told very forcefully that you better protect the Hindus and ISKCON and all that. So they have given security protection. Cops are there in the ISKCON temples.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, sir.
Yes, please accept humble obeisances. Yes,
Mataji,
Prabhu.
why this monsters, whoever are attacking Hindus, so when they're attacking, what should be the reciprocation from any of the Hindu? We should fight back, right, Mataji?
Yes, and the Bangladeshi Hindus, the youth, they said, we are not going out of this country. This is our country. Why should we go out? There are some 6 Shakti stalls there, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so many places, pastime places. So they said, they kept a knife with them, let them come, we'll attack them. So the Hindus are also fighting back. And they should. So I don't know what India will do. We have to wait and watch what's going to happen to Bangladesh. I hope let's keep praying that definitely something good will come. I feel because the Bangladeshi devotees are so sweet and wonderful devotees. So I'm sure Krishna will protect them, do something. I'm sure something good will come out.
And moreover, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Purvaj is also from East Bangladesh, right, Mataji?
Yes. There are so many pastime birthplaces of many of the Vaishnava acharyas and all that. So that is a reason. And many Hindus, they're all very nice Vaishnavas, much better than the Vaishnavas in India. Bangladeshi devotees are so wonderful. So definitely Krishna will do something. Maybe Sheikh Hasina is still here now. I hope the Indian government makes a good plan by which, anyway, elections have to take place. When elections have to take place in a democratic thing, even Sheikh Hasina and Awami League, they also have to contest. That is one hope that things will fall into place. And then, I don't know, I'm sure at the top level in our Indian government must be planning some ways how to get the neutralize the hard this thing. I mean this extremists. They must be trying something or the other. Definitely, we ourselves are getting disturbed. Then at that level, definitely they must be planning something. We've got such good expert people, Dovell and all that, who knows. He has done many times. He has done all that. So I'm just hoping something happens soon. And because the America is thinking it's very smart. No, it's all because of America. They've only done everything. They were so jealous that Bangladesh was becoming prosperous, and they did all this. So India will show we are smarter than you, and we'll put it down. I hope so. We'll keep praying. We'll keep praying that India should be able to overcome. After all, it is just as predictions. It's happening. They said whole world will be filled with all these kind of troubles and all that, and India will emerge as the Vishwa Guru. I hope this is part of this whole thing. And it is right next to us, our neighbor. We have to do something. Otherwise, it'll be very problematic for us. It is all in Krishna's hands, and we have to pray. And because the Bangladeshis also, because the devotees are such wonderful, I'm sure Krishna will, show. I mean, it has to be like that. How will he allow the Asuras to be victorious?
Mataji, this brutal slaughter of many innocent people, how the karma cycle works in that, Mataji? Like how?
They are
Because
eating non-vegetarian or not? Prabhupada said, if you slaughter animals and eat, wholesale people will be slaughtered. That's why he said wars are happening only because of this, because poor animals are killed. Then You have to pay the price.
Okay, Mother.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Mataji, small further doubt here. This is Damodar. Mataji, suppose whoever is eating non-vegetarian and all, they're suffering. I mean, the slaughter will be there, the karma reaction. But in this process, the pious good people are also getting affected. No matter, like flood comes. In the flood, your house also will go. You will also die. I mean, something also happens to the good people along with that whole karma activity. How do we see on this?
They also must be having some previous karma, collective karma, no? Nobody goes like that without any reason. Sometimes, even in that midst of all that, some people get saved. Maybe they have good karma, but nothing happens without a reason. It's not that unreasonably something. Even if it is checked like that, then ultimately it will happen only according to karma. Even temporarily, say some people try to obstruct. Even your karma is good, but some people out of envy or something, they're stopping it. Then, okay, for temporarily, it cannot be checked permanently.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm well able to map this, what you have given explanation with that landslide in Wayanad, wherein people who got excavated out of the debris even after 4 days, there were souls who got survived. And the lady who informed firsthand to the government officials about the slide, she passed away. So if karma calculation is wrong, then those who are there under the debris should not survive for 4 days without food, water, and air. And there are people who got saved even after 3-4 days under that debris.
Yeah.
I was just thinking and relating and connecting the dots. So
yes, thank you. Helper. Okay. Let's go for prayers now. Let's pray for His Holiness Jeptak Swami's complete recovery, speedy recovery, protection from all illnesses, and for his longevity. We must pray for his longevity so that, and also for his servants' good health. Let us chant 3 times. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Then we pray for all Prabhupada disciples, for their good health, protection from all diseases, for their well-being and speedy recovery from all illnesses, and for their longevity. And we pray for all our devotees and their family members, good health, well-being, protection from all illnesses, speedy recovery from all illnesses, and for their longevity. And then we pray for rainfall, proper amount of rainfall in Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, and Ahmedabad. Then we pray for peace and prosperity all over India and also all over the world, especially in the war-torn places and especially in Bangladesh. We hope the problem comes to an end soon. And then we pray for Vedvit Nimai Prabhu's speedy recovery and good health. Then we pray for Srinivas Prabhu's speedy recovery, Radhika Mataji's speedy recovery, Chandana Mataji's good health and family spiritual progress, Vinay Nityananda Prabhu's good health and recovery. Then Alekhya Mataji and her brother should get healthy and Krishna conscious children. Baby Radhesh's spiritual progress and good health. Krishna conscious progress for Vrinda, Narayani, Pranav, Gautam, Anant, and Radhika. We pray for good jobs for Srikant Prabhu, Balaji Prabhu, Dheeraj Prabhu, Nikhil Reddy, and Nandini Krishna. Then also for Pavan and Shravan for getting jobs as well as getting married soon. Neelangani Mataji, Neel Madhav Prabhu and Neeraj's well-being and good health and Krishna conscious progress. Nagnajiti Mataji's husband to get back all his dues. Vrinda should get a very nice devotee husband very soon. Touchstone School and Kidzeen School should get many new admissions and do well. Mansi Mataji's children, Adhiram and Arjun, to get married very soon and become nice devotees. Malini Kanti Mataji's children, Hari and Induleka, to get married soon and also progress in their spiritual lives. Then we pray for speedy recovery for Pratibha Mataji's father, Shankarpati Prabhu's father, Basanti Mataji, Balika Shukla Mataji, then Rangavali Mataji's father, Gauranga Guraj Prabhu's father-in-law, Krishna Mata Yashomati Mataji, Tarak Sankirtan Prabhu, his brother Lalit Sharma and Aunt Chandrakala Mataji. Auspicious and special blessings on Divya Shri Janva and her brother and mother, and also special blessings on Kartik Prabhu, Sakhi Kalavati Mataji, speedy recovery and good health. Auspicious blessings on Unni, Monu, Radhikanath Prabhu and wife Vrindavani. Then we pray for Nalini Radhika Mataji should get married very soon. To a nice devotee and also a Krishna conscious progress for their whole family and speedy recovery of both her parents. Krishna conscious progress for Vinod Prabhu and family, Tarak Sankirtan Prabhu and family, Anukampa Mataji and family, Advait Prabhu and family, Ravi Tej, Pranav, Kalavati, Harisevani Mataji and family, and also for all auspicious blessings on Kalavati Harisevani and Yashasvi Prabhu and Vaibhav Mataji and family, Sukhakar Prabhu and family, Pratibha Mataji and family, Shruti Priya Sevani Mataji and family, and Pratibha Mataji and family, Shruti Priya Sevani Mataji and family, Disha Mataji and family, Shilpa Mataji and family, Radha Mataji and family, Radhika Mataji and family, Lakshmi Mataji and family, Preeti Mataji and family, Preeti Purna Chitra Mataji and family, Atita Guna Mataji and family, Kaushalya Mataji and family, and Sanjukta Mataji and her son, and Bindu Mataji and son, Mansi Mataji and family, Pradeep and Anand, Abhishek Prabhu for speedy recovery and Krishna conscious progress, Sarva Vandya Mataji, speedy recovery and complete recovery and good health, and for her mother's good health, and daughter Janvi for spiritual progress, Leena Krishnan, speedy recovery, jobs for Pratibha Mata, Jyoti Mata, Keshav Prabhu, Shubham Maya Mataji, Jitendra Prabhu, Kartik Prabhu. Then Subhash Prabhu and Shweta Manjari Mataji's family well-being and spiritual progress, and also for marriage well-being for Raghav and Raghav and where do I? What are the two names? Raghav.
I think Bhavani
Rajiv.
Mataji.
Rajiv and what is his name? Her name? Rajiv and
Bhavani Mataji.
Bhavani. Okay, Rajiv and Bhavani. Yeah, for their married happiness and success. Prayers for Abhiram. Prayers. Then Bhagireka Mataji for fast recovery. Nishan. Then Paramesh Prabhu speedy recovery. Then Alka Mataji's children Dhruv and Diya should be protected and advance in Krishna consciousness. Sheetal Mataji for good health. Girish Prabhu for financial and spiritual, and also for all auspicious things for them. For Girish Prabhu, and we pray for Mohan Rup Prabhu's all problems to be solved soon. Hare Krishna. And who else? Some
Mataji Devesh also Mataji for
who?
Devesh Mataji Devesh.
Yes, Devesh is still not well. Devesh is speedy
Mataji.
recovery. Yeah. And Vinodavani Mataji speedy recovery and good health. And okay. So let us chant and also requesting prayers for protection for Vijay Venugopal Prabhu, Pradeep, Anand, and myself. Let us pray for everyone. Chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम ग्रंथ राज की जय। वांछाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Pranam.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Pranam to all the devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam to all the devotees, Mataji, Hare Krishna.